Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Dave Campbell's Rising. And we are live from the Dick's House of Sport, all the way down in Houston. We're in Friendswood, Texas. My name is Mallory Hartley, and I'm the coordinating producer of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And sitting alongside me, it would not be a Rising Road show without my partner in crime. It's the director of recruiting, Greg Powers.
Howdy.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
There you go. Man, what an exciting place. This place is really awesome. They've got everything here, and we got some fans out here. I'd like to give a special shout-out to the Gators cheerleaders from Dickinson
High School. They look amazing. They look so good. This is actually our fourth DCTX, I'm going to say DCTX road show because we've had Texas football today. We've had Rising. We'll have, hint, hint, Tep and Step out at a Dick's House of Sport up in Dallas here in the near future. But it's our fourth one, and they're so much fun to do because we get to meet a lot of new people. We get to meet a lot of new coaches and talk to a lot of players in these areas. And by the way, we get to do it in a actual Dick's Sporting Goods, Dick's House of Sport. And it's really distracting because there's a lot of really cool things around here. Like there's soccer balls over there and there's games over here, but they're just really fun to do because you get to meet a lot of new people and learn a lot of new things about Dick's Sporting Goods.
Climb the rock wall.
I haven't done that yet, and I want to do it so bad. It's on my bucket list. Yeah, all these Dick's House of Sport, they have like a rock wall in the area, a lot of interactive. I think a couple of them have golf simulators. So these are really cool. If you haven't been out to one, you absolutely need to get out to your nearest Dick's House of Sport because they're really stinking cool. And you might just see us there. So
yeah, shout out. Thanks for having us.
Shout out. Thanks for having us. If you're new here, welcome. We're an internet show dedicated to shining the light on Texas high school football players all across the Lone Star State. We have a packed show for you guys. We're going to be talking to a bunch of coaches, a bunch of players that are going to be joining us, as well as a special guest here at the very end. So with that being said, Powers, shall we get straight into it?
Let's go.
Let's go. We're actually already joined here by Dickinson head coach John Snelson. Of course, his tight end, it's Braden Glover. Thanks for joining us, guys. How are you?
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you having us.
Coach, I'm going to start with you here.
All right.
Man, Dickinson's on a roll. You guys moved into the top 5 of the DCTX rankings this week in the 6A classification.
Might be too low.
Does that come – yeah, no kidding. Does that come with any sort of added pressure, I'd say, or do you tell your guys, like, hey, drown out the noise. We're going 1-0 each week. Keep the main thing the main thing.
That's exactly what we say. To a T. That's exactly what we say.
I love it. I love it. 6-0 on the season so far, but you guys have 2 teams ahead in Clear Springs and Deer Park who are also undefeated in district play. What's the mindset heading into those games? We just got to keep the main thing, you know, get a little bit better every day and focus on us. It's about us. So that's what we like to do.
Braden, I want to ask you, man, you're a senior leader on this team. It's been a whole lot of fun, and being on that offensive side of the ball the last 2 weeks, 71 points. Not a lot of teams scoring 71 points. What's it like being a senior leader on the team and actually, you know, putting that many points on the board every week?
It's fun because at the end of it, we get to see our younger guys going, and it's fun to get them some experience and get them in the game. And so it's always fun on the sideline. One
of the things I noticed when watching y'all's games this year, breaking down your tape specifically, and we say it a lot on our broadcast all the time, when you block, you get the rock. And one of the things that I noticed on your game tape is you do a lot of tough blocking, whether you're playing that sniffer back role as a tight end, split out wide, but you get rewarded with getting your hands on the footballs. Is that kind of the mentality that you take into each and every game?
Yes, sir. Our coaches always breed into no block, no rock. So that's what we do every week.
Coach, your offense is averaging 52 points a game, and that's in large part thanks to this guy over here. Man, what's clicking right now?
Got real good quarterback play. That's the biggest thing, and real good kids going off around him. Offensive line's getting better every week. Running backs are playing well. We have kids like Braden on the perimeter that are really good weapons, but I'd say our quarterback, Lorenzo Aguirre, is really, really playing well.
Now, switching over to the defensive side of the ball, are there any guys that you want to shout out in that way that have really stepped up this year?
Oh, man, there's a bunch. Chase Lewis, Timmy Ricks, Marcellus Hunter, Quantrell Bloom. I could go on and on. We're just playing really good defense. We got really good quarterback play, and our chemistry is really good right now. So this is a really fun team.
So it's a loaded roster, as I'm hearing, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Braid, they always say iron sharpens iron, right? And he mentioned off some of the guys you get to go against in practice every day. Who's that one guy that you want to shout out on your defense that challenges you every day, makes you a better player?
I want to shout out Kenneth Hightower from the D-line and Quantrell Bloom and the linebackers. It's always competitive. We're going to get each other every play. It's competing.
Now, I know that you're a guy that's going to be playing ball at the next level. You got some college options. Why don't you kind of break down like what it's like to have a chance to know that you're going to be playing college ball one day, and how fun is it or how challenging is it to have those guys kind of target you? Because whenever you're like that, you do have a target on your back, I feel like, every game.
I mean, I don't see it as a target on my back. I just see it as an opportunity to get better every week. And those college options, they're cool, but I'm focused on right now Dixon Gators. Take it to the next.
Feet are on the ground
Uh-huh.
right now.
Uh-huh.
And
I love it. Living
when
in
you're
the moment.
when you have that zero next to in the loss column, you know it's easy to put that in perspective, right? Because you have state championship aspirations.
And Braden, I want to talk to you about this. So your brother is a corner currently at TCU.
Yes, ma'am.
What have you learned from him? You know, it could be about the recruiting process or just, you know, living in the moment, like you said.
From him, he had recently just came back from injury, and I just learned from him to, like, never give up. Like, he got a dream, stick to it, and just persevere and keep going and keep grinding and keep God first always.
Amen.
I love that. Coach, I want to talk about your non-district slate so far. You guys went through the
tough
gauntlet. I mean, you played Katy, CE King, Cy-Fair, all wins, by the way, I should mention. What's the importance of scheduling tough when you really don't have to in non-district play?
Well, we actually do. People really don't want to play us much off in the
I wouldn't.
non-district, which is a good thing. But when you play really good people, they show you exactly who that you are and what you need to get better at. So that's why we like doing that.
And what's been the message going into practice each week? I mean, I know, like we just said, you've had a tough schedule. So how do you keep your guys motivated each week?
We're pretty basic, you know. We're just trying to get 1% better every day, you know, because when the playoffs start, you know, we want to be 1-0 every week, and we just need to keep that mindset.
And then finally, what separates this team from maybe the rest of the district or the rest of the state? What makes the Gators so special?
Lots of people have talent. Lots of people have size and speed. This group of guys, they just don't like each other. They love each other. I mean, they love each other. They you know, I'm not sure if you know what mudita is, but it's when you get just as excited for your teammate doing something good as you whenever you do it your own self, and this bunch has that, and it's just a really fun bunch.
I love it. Well, Coach and Braden, thanks so much for joining us here, and good luck
you
the
for
rest
having
of the
me.
way.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
You
it,
bet.
Braden.
You bet.
There they go. It's Coach John Snelson and Braden Glover at Dickinson High School. They are a fun team to watch.
You know what? We've been watching a lot of top players from Dickinson for a long time. It's just like a D1 factory, it seems like at times, and they're always putting out top-tier guys. But I think Braden touched on it perfectly, that he's in the here and now.
You have to be.
Right? And the more tape you get, the longer you play into the playoffs, the better it is for all the players. They're going to be able to make sure that they get plays that colleges are going to get a notice, and if that's something that's important to you, that's going to help your recruitment. But winning a state championship underneath the Friday Night Lights, that's bigger.
That's special.
It's bigger than all that.
Especially
right?
in Texas when you get to play at AT&T Stadium, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you make it to that state championship game on the big stage and you get your game on national television. It's a whole lot of fun to watch. You know, we've been down there covering it for,
Oh, yeah.
well, I don't want to date myself, about 20 years, right? So it's a whole lot of fun to go out there to the big dance.
The big dance, yeah. And, man, it's weird that, like, we're already in, what is this, like week 7 of Texas high school football?
It flies by.
It sure flies by,
And they've got some big games. I mean, the Gators do have some big games coming up. We talked about their non-district schedule, but there's some pretty big teams that are looming.
Yeah, I mean, District 24, 6A, you've got Clear Springs, who we'll talk to head coach here in just a second. Deer Park, they're all undefeated in district play, so
they all control their own destiny.
They all control their own destiny. So it's going to be a fun district to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the Texas high school football season. Don't worry, guys. We have plenty more for you to come here in just a second. But first, let's hear a word from our friends at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yo, these KDs are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid. Take notes.
Yo, I can go all pro in these. I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
Thanks again to Dick's Sporting Goods for all that they do for us and hosting us here in Friendswood today to bring you some hot recruiting coverage and some good interviews with some good coaches and some good players. How about that? And speaking of, we're going to keep the train on the tracks. We're keeping it rolling here. And we're joined by Pearland's head coach, BJ Gott, and his offensive tackle, Nick Howard, over there. You barely fit in that seat, man, down there. He passes the eyeball test for sure. Coach, we're going to go ahead and start here with you first. Thanks for joining us. I know it's right down the road, but really appreciate you guys being here with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
You guys are number 6 in the 6A rankings, just right behind Dickinson. We just had their head coach on. I'll ask you kind of the same thing. Does that come with any sort of added pressure, or do you tell your guys to just, keep their heads down and go and 1-0 each week?
I mean, we really don't focus on it a whole lot. We're worried about getting better every single day. I know it sounds cliche, and you probably hear it from every single coach, but that truly is what we do. Is we focus on ourselves, try to improve, every day. So we're playing clean football in all 3 phases, and just try to take it one day at a time.
You guys are 7-0 on the season so far. You got Shadow Creek coming up here in just a couple of weeks, which could potentially determine the District 22 6A state district title. What's the mindset heading into each week?
We want to be at our best, and it's a long season, and we're in that part of the season where it can be a little bit of a grind. You're in your routine and you're working hard, and all the kids are not as fresh as they were maybe week 1. So learning how to practice and get better while taking care of your bodies and making sure we're as close to 100% as we can be is the goal. So we got to maximize every day and every rep, and we also got to maximize opportunities outside of practice so we are as healthy as we can be.
Nick, I want to jump in here and ask you about your development, right? I watched you on tape last year. I watched you on tape this year, and I feel like you're hitting your stride at just the right time, right? 7-0 in the season, big games coming up, and college right in front of you. What do you feel like you've improved upon the most so far this year?
I'd have to say my leadership role in the team. The last 3 years, I was trying to find my way in the program, and now that I've found my way and I've kind of earned the leadership role in the team, I'm just trying to get better at leading the younger guys on the team, trying to make them better, making sure everyone's good on the lower side.
It's got to be a whole lot of fun going up against the defensive linemen that your squad offers. I mean, district's tough. The games you play are tough. You're always matching up against somebody good underneath the Friday night lights. But in practice every day, those guys are there. Jalen Stewart, DeMarco. Why don't you just kind of talk about how they make you become a better overall talent?
Yeah, they both raw, natural, God-given talent. Since freshman year, I've been going against them. They just always – we have a good relationship. We built a great one the last 4 years, and we sometimes we'll give each other tips on what we can do to make each other better. Just my hips are in my stance. Maybe that tells them where I'm going. They'll just just little stuff like that. They just really help me out.
They're quite different guys, too, right? I mean, different sizes, so you get to probably test yourself against I guess they both got some get off, right, Coach? They're both pretty good at getting off the ball, but I would say you got like a pure pin your ears back speed rusher, and then a guy that has a little bit more power too. Is that something that you feel like helps you out too?
Yeah, I get it. Like I get a little bit of everything. There's nothing that I haven't seen that's just like, dang, like they're really good to go against in practice.
Coach, you guys are playing good complementary football right now. Obviously, I'll ask about your defense right here in a second, but offensively first, since you're sitting right next to a guy who's made a big impact on the offense so far. What are a couple of those other names that you want to shout out on the offensive side of the ball that have, maybe improved or stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of kids that have contributed a ton to our success. It starts up front with our offensive line, Nick and Colby Rayo, Graydon Phillips, R.J. Swan, and then James Rainwater, our quarterback. He's obviously kind of been, our anchor. He's a returning starter, all-district football player, Jake Westmoreland. He manages the game well, and when he manages it well, we have success. And, in the backfield, Jamari Champion and our fullback, Dom Teichelman, and then RJ's little brother, Roy Swan. They're playing together. That's been great. And then, out on the perimeter, Jordan Hernandez, Mikey Shaver, Braxton Jones, Caleb Samuels. So we've got a number of kids that are working hard. And then our tight end, Kayron Johnson. So we've got all those kids are playing a key role, and they're huge for our success.
And then defensively, looking at y'all's schedule, the first two games, you gave up a combined 56 points. But then the next 4 games, you haven't allowed more than 14 points to be scored. One of those, I think you allowed 3 points against a team. What's been the biggest improvement that you've seen defensively so far this year?
Well, just experience. We were experienced in the front 7. You mentioned 2 D linemen, DeMarco and Jalen, but Amari Wilkes has done a fantastic job as well up front. So those 3 guys with our linebackers, Joseph Credit, Sam Armstrong, Anthony DeLeon, those guys are all returning starters, some of them 2-year starters. So we knew our strength was going to be in our front 7. Our secondary was young and inexperienced. So, they've learned and have grown this year. Zeke Alkire back there has anchored them, but they've done a really good job getting better every week. And so as they've got those experiences, they've continued to get better. And that's kind of what we preach is, focus on the details and the little things every week and take it step by step. And that's what they've done.
Nick, you made your commitment to Pitt. What was it about the Panthers that drew you in? And one thing I noticed this year is that they've been really aggressive in the Lone Star State. They prioritize a lot of guys down here. What was it about that program that grabbed your attention?
First of all, their education. I mean, everyone knows they have and having a degree from Pitt, it means a lot worldwide. And then their coaching staff, they show genuine love to me. From the moment I met Coach Darvo in the locker room at school, and from the moment on, he just always texted me, always making sure I'm okay, asking if the family's okay. That means a lot to me. And then when we got to Pitt at the airport, just showing genuine love. I mean, that's showing love and knowing that I'm gonna be really far from home, and that's something that I really had to think about when I committed. And I know that I will be I'll be well there, and I'll be taken care of all the way in Pittsburgh.
What type of player are they getting? Give the Panthers fans a little bit something to get fired up about. What are you bringing to the table? I've watched tape, really enjoy it, but why should they be excited about what you bring?
They're going to get a monster. They're going to get someone that's going to work hard every day, someone that does not like D linemen at all, and someone that's going to.
I love that answer.
I do
now
too.
I feel I had to put him on the spot, shouting out his own D lineman. I mean, if he's got that offensive line mentality, he's wanting to kill those guys even in practice. So.
Man, my favorite kind of mentality. I love that. Coach, I want to ask you, it seems like you guys, you've got a stout team year after year, but it might feel like this team just a little bit different. What's different about this team?
The culture. The culture is really strong. The kids love each other. You can hear them in my office, across from the other office, them having fun and joking around, and just the fact that a lot of them are here to support Nick and support our team says a lot. So just the camaraderie they have, the belief in each other, and the culture overall, I think kind of sets this group apart. Senior leaders are strong.
And finally, we're kind of in that mid-season, slowish kind of era, right? I mean, you're tired. You guys are playing week in and week out, and especially for you guys, y'all haven't had your bye week yet. Is that correct? You've got it towards the end of the season. Mm-hmm. How do you keep these guys fired up and motivated to finish out the rest of the season?
Well, I think you got to encourage them and you got to challenge them. So you got to be able to give them tangible goals weekly and daily that they can continue to work at and work towards to keep them engaged, because we've said it, and I've been telling them since probably week 5, week 6, like this is the hardest part of the season. It really is, and this is where people can lose their edge. So just, encouraging them, giving them tips and tricks on how to take care of themselves, and then giving them tangible goals they can reach every day to kind of keep them engaged is what we try to do.
Well, guys, we really appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. There they go. It's Pearland head coach BJ Gott and his offensive tackle, Nick Howard. Man, I'm super excited to watch Nick Howard next year. I'm not even going to lie.
Well, I mean,
Pat Nardizzi is one of my favorite coaches, I think. Not because he coached at Michigan State, maybe a little bit, but I also really enjoy Pat Nardizzi.
I never take the evaluation cap off. You're always evaluating all the time, and you don't sometimes get to meet all these players. It's like a long process, right? It starts whenever you start finding out about guys, whenever they're younger, and sometimes you may not have a chance to meet or talk or watch somebody play live until they get older. And one of the things that I was first and foremost blown away by from Nick was his stature, but I love the answers that he gave about the education at Pitt and putting that high up on his list. But whenever you're an offensive lineman who loves to feast on putting defensive linemen in the dirt, that's a mentality that not everyone has, right? And I love that about him. And we have him rated as a 3-star. He made our DCTX top 500. He's a guy that certainly we know about, but maybe I'm sleeping on him a little bit. And they have another player that I felt like – I went on a podcast a couple weeks ago talking about Kansas and Kansas State recruits. Joseph Credit, their linebacker there, he's a dude. And I really like his versatility. And so they have a couple of guys on that team that I feel like are maybe underrated, or I hate to use the word sleepers, you know what I mean? Maybe they are a little bit being slept on, even by me or maybe some of the national recruiting sites as well.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that's just Texas high school football for you,
right? It is.
You can go to there's a good chance you can reach into a bag, right, with every Texas high school football team, pull out a team, and they're going to have at least one prospect on that team, right?
If you told me 10 years ago, Greg, you're going to put together a top 500 list, I wouldn't have thought that it was something that you could do. But one thing that I've noticed year over year here in Texas is that the talent continues to get better. It gets deeper.
It sure does.
There's more guys. I think when I first started doing this in 2004, we maybe had 30, 35 D1 FBS-bound wide receivers, and now there's 85. So you've expanded or even doubled the amount of guys at one position, and that's across the board, right? And that's a credit to, I feel like, the coaches in Texas, the assistant coaches, the recruiting coordinators, all the people who give their time and invest in these kids to make them better players, better people. Credit to them, because our state is deep with talent.
It sure is. I mean, we talked to Coach Jason Witten last week, and at the end of the interview, he said, Texas high school football, there's nothing like it. And I will stand by that. There is nothing like Texas high school football. Well, we appreciate Pearland head coach BJ Gott and his offensive tackle Nick Howard for joining us here for our Rising Road Show at Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas. We've got a couple more guests for you, but first, why don't we promo our own show?
Okay.
This Week in Recruiting. If you're a big recruiting guru, like you and me, you'd call yourself a recruiting guru, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
You don't like that term, I love that term.
I'm just a guy who likes to watch ball.
I'm just a dude who enjoys ball. Well, I can't say that. I'm a girl that enjoys
You're a gal who
I'm a recruiting guru. I'm a gal that enjoys ball, right? Well, if you do, come join us every Tuesday at noon for This Week in Recruiting, a show dedicated to shining the light on Texas high school football prospects all over the Lone Star State with myself and, of course, the one and only Greg Powers, who's sitting right next to me. Join us every Tuesday at noon on all DCTX social platforms as well as YouTube. We'll be back to normal scheduling next Tuesday.
Next week?
At noon. Next week. All right, let's move right along here.
Let's do it.
Joined.
I'm fired up.
Let's keep going, right? It's only 6:24. We can keep going. We're joined by Clear Springs head coach Anthony Renfro and his running back, Duran Bolden. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Really
I just want to
appreciate
give
it.
a special shout out to Coach Renfro. Man, thanks for always being nice to me and appreciate
absolutely.
you. Everything you do, keeping
Heck
us hooked
yeah.
over there. Welcome to the
Appreciate
show,
y'all
Durant.
promoting kids.
Absolutely. Coach, I'm going to start with you here first.
Okay.
You guys are coming off a bye week. So what's the focus? What was the focus during bye week? What was the message in the locker rooms?
The focus during the bye week was physicality. Most people on the bye week will take some time off and do things, try to get better. We were trying to get after it in practice. We were doing some old school stuff and trying to push our guys to be more physical and up the tempo in practice a little bit. We did have fall break, so they got Friday off to get healthy and had a long weekend. But our biggest deal during the bye week was physicality, definitely.
You're part of District 24, 6A. We actually got to talk to Dickinson's head coach earlier. 3 teams currently undefeated in district play. You guys are one of them. When you take a broad approach to this district, what's the assessment as a whole?
I think you got to be prepared to play every week. There's a lot of good coaches out there. We have some young coaches new to the district. But, I mean, every week there's a team that, they got some good players on their team, and they're going to be coached well. And you can't go in slacking. You got to be ready to go every week because it seems like to me that every team's getting better every year. So I think the district as a whole is in a good place. You got 3 teams undefeated. And then you got Clear Falls, who already played Deer Park in a war earlier in the season, so they're right there in it. And Clear Creek has played the three tough teams early, and they're looking to claw their way into the playoffs with their last games.
Duran, seems like you're getting a lot of work in this offense, right?
Yes, sir.
Already racked up 644 yards this year, got a lot of touches. Just talk about how much fun it is to know that your number's going to be getting called and called often, that you're going to be getting the rock.
I mean, I want to say, first and foremost, I wouldn't even be here without my offensive line. My offensive line, I mean, they're the ones that are up front doing all the dirty work for me, and it's really how I can, find the gaps in the defense. It's not me. They're the ones making the gaps, and they're the ones making the running lanes I can run through. So, big shout-out to them. And our run game coordinator, Coach Leonard, he's really, on me about, staying vertical in my lanes, making sure I'm, reading the gaps right and straight. So that's a big kudos out to those guys.
I know you got 5 to 7 guys out there probably blocking for you consistently,
Right.
but is there one of your friends, one of your guys that you want to make special mention of tonight? Go ahead and give him a shout-out and tell the fans
Shout out
what makes him special.
Shout out my boy Tristan Jefferson. I mean, he's a returning varsity guard, I think. Yeah, it's definitely one of my main guys. I can know if everything goes to Fart or whatever, I can just look towards him and I know I can run behind that guy. I can trust all my O-line though. And
I love it. Coach, you guys are 5-1 on the season. You lost first game, but you kind of bounced back, and you haven't lost since. What have you learned since that week 1 loss?
Well, we had a lot of inexperience coming in this year. We had 3 guys that had played varsity football on the offensive side and 3 guys that had played varsity football on the defensive side. And when you kick off the season against a team as talented as Ridgepoint, and we had lost a scrimmage because of weather, so I felt like that. I was like, hey, this is our scrimmage. We're going to go out there and play and let everybody play and find out what we can about our team. And I think since that point in the season, our team has responded really well. Again, like I said, we 3-3 starters on both sides of the ball, but a lot of seniors are playing and they've stepped into spots. I mean, guys like Duran, who are 4-year program guys and done everything that they needed to do to get to this point in their senior year, have really stepped in and filled those spots for us.
And in your own words, what makes Duran, your guy right here, a special player?
Oh, man, you want to talk about a guy that started out as a freshman on the B team and then worked his way up and was JV starter as a sophomore and then helped us in last year and he's just so explosive, and every time he touches the football, he can make something special happen. But again, he does whatever it's going to take for the team to be great, and that's what's great about our kids at Clear Springs.
Duran, that led in perfectly to the next question I was going to ask, because this team has been blessed with some good running back talent over recent years.
Right.
What did you learn from some of those guys who have now moved on that you use in your game?
So I'll just say, because I do have a friend, he did transfer schools, Corey Jose. I definitely learned a lot behind him because he would always be taking hits and things of that nature, and it really just taught me no matter how hard you hit, you always got to find a way to get back up, run through it again, next play. The gap's not always going to be there, and if it is there, you got to take advantage of it. So that really did, he really taught me a lot. Adam Hawkins, he's off in college now. Both of those guys shadowing behind them did,
You can tell he knows his X's and O's, right?
He sure
knows
does.
his X's and
High
O's.
football IQ, let me
So
tell
I
you.
don't feel bad. Sometimes I worry about asking this question, but is there a player in college or the league that you feel like you watch, draw inspiration from? Who do you want to be like when you're out there?
I'm gonna say Jahmyr Gibbs. Like,
I love it.
He is speedy guy. I mean, that's me. I mean, I don't really have a lot of the size on that part, but I mean, I'll say I have a lot of speed. And once I get into open spaces, like, it's not a lot of stopping me. So.
He's on my fantasy team. So.
I was wondering if I thought he was, but I didn't want
to. He said Jahmyr Gibbs, and I was like, yeah, that's my guy this year.
That'd be Durant. He'd get you a lot of points at fantasy league.
I love it. I love it. Coach, can you shout out any other players that may have stepped up this season that maybe we haven't mentioned yet, either on the offensive or defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. Offensively, he talked about Tristan Jefferson, 3-year returning starter for us, the heart and soul of our O-line. Sean Carter's been our weapon on the offensive side of the ball, receiver. Yeah, speedy. Every time he touches the ball, he's going to make something happen. Freddie Fincher's another guy in our program that's a wide receiver. Has been a 3-year starter who just – he's going to do exactly what he's supposed to on every play. He's going to show up. If he's supposed to block, he's going to block. Whatever he's supposed to do, he's going to do it. Defensively, we have our whole front seven is all seniors, and then we have a couple seniors in the secondary. So I think we start one underclassman on the defense. So just a whole group defensively as far as showing up every day and doing what they're supposed to. But Aiken Wells and Logan Maxey and Josh Dickey are those guys that are the heart and soul of our defense.
You guys got a big one against Clear Falls coming up this week.
Huge game.
Huge game.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah, right. No, and we were talking about it earlier. It's kind of like one of those things. It's a district where it could be in anybody's hands, right? It could be anybody's game, right?
Yeah, so it's wide open.
What's the assessment of this district, in your opinion, as a whole? And have you assessed this team coming up?
Well, I think that after what happened last year, as far as across the board in our district in the first round of the playoffs, we all kind of took that personal. So we're trying to find a way to compete with District 23 6A to make sure that we win some playoff games this year. Across the board, I mean, we're Cotton Barker and Greer over there that we're fixing to play at Clear Falls. I mean, Barker's thrown for like 1,700 yards already, and Greer has most of those yards. So, I mean, you're talking about talent there. You look at Dickinson, and Coach Nelson had all his guys here and talked about all those guys. I mean, they're fantastic the way they've played and who some of the teams that they've beat. And then Deer Park, I mean, they just keep, they're going to run the football. They're going to make you line up and do some of those things, but they're pretty explosive too. So, I mean, that's not to take away from any of the other teams in the district. Brazos Wood is way better than they've been in the past. Yeah. Clear Creek, they're going to be well coached and they're going to play hard. And some, Brook and Lake are, they're struggling a little bit, but they're playing hard and getting better. So, I mean, just across the board, the districts, we get after it. We got some good players in our district, and I think every week you're playing teams that have been well coached.
And to me, teams where everybody kind of knows everybody. Play youth league together, like all the guys really seem to.
I think sometimes it's harder to play the teams in the district that and all the kids know each other than it is playing somebody that they don't know. So it's tough too.
Duran, hearing Coach talk right there, is this your pitch now to tell him, ground control, feed me the rock, I'll keep the ball out of the other offense's hands?
I'll just say I always love getting the ball. I just say that. And I also love seeing others get the ball. I love seeing others eat. But it's always a joy when I get the ball and I'm doing something, working magic.
Well, to close it out, I've got one question for both of you. Do you have any pregame meals that you have to have, or maybe postgame meals? Do you have any postgame, pregame rituals that you have to do? What's the game day routine?
I mean, for me, I make sure I pray. Obviously, that I'm really heavy on that. Over there, I'm really heavy on that. Pray maybe 3 times before every game just to make sure, because Lord is first, as you know. I wouldn't be here without him. And then for a pregame meal, our booster club, they always supply us with amazing food. So
shout out booster club.
Yeah. Amazing pasta. Whatever they cook, it's always good. And after, we go to Whataburger, Cane, something like that, celebrate a victory. So, that'd be
celebrating way more victories so far this year at 5-1, and that makes that Whataburger trip so much
sweeter.
Yeah, so much sweeter. We had team dinner on Thursday nights. Was always a big thing.
Yeah.
And it was always pasta. That was the thing back in the day. You always had to have the pasta the day before the game to get you geared up to be able to go in to the next night. So,
Coach, anything special you gotta have before?
Oh, not me. No. We're blessed in our community. Our parents really take care of our kids as far as feeding them. They feed the coaches on Fridays. Oh, I always just to say, bring your best home cooked meal. I like to eat anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're very blessed in our community. Our parents take care of our kids.
I love it. Well, guys, really appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, good luck this weekend.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having us on.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. There they go. It's Clear Springs head coach Anthony Renfro and his running back Duran Bolden. What a delight having them on.
Yeah.
They were so fun.
That was awesome. And you know what? I would definitely be pitching like the best way to keep Kaiden Barker from throwing a touchdown against you is if I'm running the ball in the trenches, if I'm Duran Bolden.
No
right?
kidding.
His numbers are pretty sick this year. 644 yards on 80 carries, and I'm just wanting to double check that. That's 80 carries in 6 games. So, I mean,
Feed him the ball. Yeah.
He is a true workhorse in that offense. And they've had some teams in recent years that have had some big-time recruits on it, but one of the things that I've noticed about this year's team, and Coach kind of touched on it just a little bit, is that they've come together, right? And they don't have like that big time, like Blake Ivy was going to Texas A&M, right? Like they had that big time guy. Well, this year it's more about the team, and I feel like that did bring everybody together.
Absolutely. Well, and I really enjoyed talking to Duran because you could just tell. And I mentioned it during the interview. I was like, man, his football IQ is so high.
Yeah.
He understands. It seemed like every part of this team, right? And you want that kind of guy in your senior running back. You want that kind of guy leading your team to success. So I'm not surprised that this team is doing well at the leadership here of one of the
Renfro is one of the more underrated coaches, I feel like, in the state.
Agree.
All they do is win. He's a good dude. He has the right values. He knows how to support the players whenever they have an opportunity to get college offers. Make sure that he keeps me plugged in and others plugged in with what's going on over there. He just gets it.
He
and
does.
you can see that, I feel like, on this year's team because these wins have been pretty decisive. You know, and they played some pretty tough teams out of the gate in Fort Bend, Ridgepoint, Houston Heights, and Houston Lamar. And I'm telling you, Lamar's got a couple
Houston Lamar's always
They got a couple of dudes on that team that nobody's talking about that are really good. Steven Dixon over there at Houston Heights and Coach Rick LeFavors at Fort Bend Ridgepoint. Those are great coaches as well. But I'm really impressed by what Renfro has always brought to Clear Springs and the type of mentality his teams play with.
Yeah, always appreciate Coach Renfro and Duran hopping on with us here at Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas. We've got one more special guest to get to, but first, here's a word from our friends at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid. Take notes. Yo, I can guard pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
Into our Rising Road Show. That is a tongue twister. Rising Road Show. Show on the road here at the Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas. We are now joined by a special guest. It's Aaron Pisk, the field marketing manager for Dick's Sporting Goods. Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. This is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, too, man. We have
Yeah.
some really big-time recruits and some top coaches, so thanks for having us out tonight.
Absolutely.
Well, we're really glad to have you guys, and man, how much fun is it to have this level of excitement here in the store? I mean, you guys bring it every time you're on the show, but to see the cheerleaders here and see these teams out here supporting their peers and their coaches. I mean, isn't that just what high school football here in Texas is all about?
Man, it sure is. Best here. It's the best in the world, I'd say. Best in the world, I should say. This place is insane.
Yeah.
The location in Friendswood is absolutely. I keep getting distracted by all the things that I'm seeing around here. When was this location founded?
So we opened up here as a Dick's Sporting Goods, believe it or not, back in 2016. But as the company, as we've continued to evolve and continue to make sure that we are best in class across the country, we actually turned this into a Dick's House of Sport in 2023. So we just recently celebrated our 2-year anniversary of being Dick's House of Sport here in
Congratulations.
Now, we just did one of these Rising Road shows up in the Addison location. Talk about the expansion of this concept in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. So being relevant here, and again, as this concept has become something that we're looking to do, Dick's Sporting Goods is just a great place for people to come. And I think as a company, we look at what we sell isn't necessarily clothes, isn't necessarily sporting goods. You continue to mention all the good stuff that we can see here. But what we're really selling is the opportunity for people to come in and get what they need to achieve their dreams, right? So when we come here and we're able to do that, they can come in here and whether it's that bat that's going to allow, a little leaguer to go and play for the first time and get their first base hit or their first home run, or, these kids from, Pearland or Dickinson, right? They're coming in, they're getting ready to win district and go, hopefully go to state, but they need gloves. You gotta look good to play good, right? So, as we continue to expand throughout Texas, as we, continue to expand our footprint really across the country, making sure that when people come in here, that experience matches what we're selling, right? When you want to come in, you want to touch, you want to feel, you want to experience. So that what you have is going to help you truly achieve those dreams. So that's really what we're trying to do here.
Before you get to the next question, Mallory, he touched on something, look good, play good, and I think I would look pretty good in that Jeff Bagwell jersey that I saw in the front of the store. Could you envision me in that Bagwell jersey on the Rising show?
Yes.
Next week?
And I like it.
One of my all-time favorites.
There's also a Jeremiah Smith poster over there. You should get your picture with him.
I am a big Jeremiah Smith fan. I really am. Best player in college football.
Okay. All right. Anyways, I don't disagree, but it's funny that you mentioned that because there were a couple of Pearland players that came to support Coach Gott and Nick over here earlier, and they were kind of messing around over there. They were looking at the water bottles, looking at the gloves and stuff. So I understand, getting guys in here to achieve their dreams, getting the equipment that they need to achieve their dreams. How important is Texas to the overall marketing strategy of Dick's Sporting Goods?
I mean, it's incredibly important just because when people come in, when athletes are, again, looking for anything, whether it's, a gift for a family member, a friend, or, for themselves, there's a lot of people in the state of Texas, right? So making sure that we have everything our athletes need, to be able to, again, achieve those dreams, to have stores that like these House of Sports that have so much that you can come in because, again, it can be your cleats, it can be your shoes, it can just be, a hoodie because, you're going to class and you need to stay warm because even here in Texas, it's 90 degrees outside, but when you go inside, the air conditioner's on 65. You got to have a hoodie, right?
Our office.
Exactly, right? So you got to, we need to have everything, and we also need to have this footprint across the state because, again, big state. We got to make sure we have something for everyone. So when people come into Dick's Sporting Goods, they know that what they need is going to be here, and they can leave excited with something that, again, is going to help them, achieve what they're setting out to do.
Why is it important to connect back to the community?
They're going to leave with exactly, what they're looking for.
I said Jeremiah Smith, best college football player. I think quarterback could get drafted before him, possibly in the NFL draft, and he can't even go out this year. It'll be next year. But Aaron, this is your chance, right? Is there a player in Texas, plays maybe Texas A&M, TCU, Texas Tech, wherever? Is there a guy in Texas that you feel like could make me wrong?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm really glad I get to talk a little bit of football again. I love Dick's Sporting Goods, and we do so much great stuff. But the listeners here came to listen about football, right? So thanks for letting me do this. But I'm going to stick here in Texas with a guy who's a Texas high school kid. Man, who could give Jeremiah Smith a run for his money next year is out of Duncanville High School is Colin Simmons.
I set him up. I gave it to him on a silver platter. Gave it to him on a silver platter.
There's some great quarterbacks out there. I mean, again, we know the value of the quarterback position in the game of football. But you know what else is getting that quarterback down and making sure their lives are hard. And man, what a talented athlete that he is. And I mean, again, the coverage that he got at Duncanville and now being at the University of Texas. Man, just so much fun to watch these guys play. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, what an athlete. There's just so many guys out there.
That was a fun game too.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, but man, there's a ton of guys. I love watching college football. I mean, seeing and listening to these recruiting shows and then seeing like, wow, these things really come to fruition. All the time and effort that you guys putting into really researching these guys, and then, like, Nick was talking about Pitt and why he chose Pitt. So these guys make choices, and then that all come into fruition. So yeah, but Colin Simmons, man, what a freak, the way he can bend the edge.
Show. He's a dude, former DCTX I'm just saying, former DCTX 5-star, but I think there's a guy on that team who may have something to say about it after his performance in the Red River rivalry, and that's former South Oak Cliff cornerback Malik Manny Muhammad. That dude had himself a game, and what a huge win it was for the Longhorns to hand OU their first loss of the season and remain in the national title picture, right? But it is fun, like you said. I mean, even watching some of these games across the country, I feel like every weekend I'm watching a game, and it could just be a random game, and there's somebody from Texas that's balling out.
Well, I brought this up to you in the office yesterday. It was for the Red River. I can never say
Red River rivalry.
Red River rivalry game. But I was watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Kip Lewis for Oklahoma, who was formerly at Carthage, and I'm like, it's just you. Every time you throw on a college football game, you see some kind of former Texas high school football player that's making an impact, right?
Was, for me, the wow moment was Xavier Atkins for Auburn. I know they end up losing that game, but Xavier Atkins was a guy at Humble Summer Creek, not too far from here. He was a pretty good player, and now you're seeing him make these plays in college, but it just seems like every game, like there's a dude out there.
Absolutely. It's so great. And, at Dick's Sporting Goods, we're the official retail sporting goods partner with the University of Texas, so we've got a chance to meet a lot of those players and do some community activations with them, and just to see some of those guys come back, and what again Kelvin Banks, who's now with the New Orleans Saints, and Matthew Golden, I mean, multiple first-round picks that are both from this Houston area, that again, 4 stars, 5 stars, just great kids that come in and then have so much success, and but then are already giving back to the community at such a young age, right? Like it's really cool, and man, but you're right. I love to watch some college football, and my wife is allows me to have a Saturday to do that, and we love to watch college football, and obviously we'll love to support our schools here in the state of Texas, and it's so much fun to see. Like again, you get these Dave Campbell emails, and man, the field is full of these 4 stars and 5 stars, right, just doing their thing. So
if he keeps mentioning former DCTX 5 stars like Kelvin Banks and Colin Simmons, we'll have to have them on every week.
No kidding.
I love talking about those guys, and especially when they're successful. It's really hard sometimes to try to pick between one guy or another.
I know, because they're all good here. I mean, that's just the name of the game. So, well, Aaron, we really appreciate the time, and thanks for hosting us here at Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas.
Anytime. We got to get you up on that rock wall to make sure you knock it off your bucket list.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's going to
happen.
happen
We can do some
soon.
social media hits after this. You want to go ahead and climb it?
Our flight doesn't take off till 9:30, so mean, we could totally have time for that, But anyways, we'll see.
I thought you were going to use it as an excuse why you couldn't. You pivoted.
No, I want to do it. That's the
pivoted.
whole point. That's the whole point. Our flight's not till 9:30. Who says I can't do the rock wall?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Well, I think that is going to do it for us. We got to get out of here so I can do that rock wall before my flight. But would you like to let the fans know what our DCTX Rising game of the week is this week?
We'll be right back in Katy, Texas for the Katy Tigers versus the Katy Jordan Warriors on Thursday night, a huge district matchup. Really, I think it could decide the district crown. That'll be this Thursday night starting at 7. And, of course, you can watch on all of your DCTX streaming platforms, and the game will be free on YouTube. Tons and tons of talent, and there's players, of course, on both of those teams are now starring in college. And I'm going to shout out one of them, Andrew Marsh, playing for Michigan last week. He's had a couple of breakouts over the last couple of weeks. But I'm really excited to see that game because Ohio State also offered defensive end Jimmy Frisco Phillips.
I saw that.
From Katy Jordan this week. So some guys on the rise on both of those squads.
There's a little QR code down there at the corner, I think. I don't know if the graphic's still up, but there's a little QR code down there that'll take you straight to our YouTube page so you can watch that for free on Thursday at 7
it's going to be a good game.
p.m. It's going
I'm fired
to be a great game. Well, we appreciate the Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas for hosting us today and being great partners to us at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. A quick reminder, our Rising This Week in Recruiting will be back this Tuesday, next Tuesday, I guess I should say, at noon, just like always. Special thanks to all of our coaches and players, and of course Aaron Pisk for hopping on today to give us a little bit of information about Dick's House of Sport in Friendswood, Texas. For Vianney Moreno, our producer, for Greg Powers, I'm Mallory Hartley. We'll see you next Tuesday at noon.